Okay, this is the April 11th, 2023 meeting of the Board of Finance, starting at, well, it's 7:13 p.m. and present for the meeting. At this point, we have Kathy Barone via Zoom. We have John Ford, we have John Kubowski, we have me, Sharon Hooks, Chair. In addition, we have Leslie Bacigalupi, our Finance Director. We have Paula Francesco, the First Selectman. We have Don.
Long day.
Where did that go? We have Don Shea here, as in multiple capacities, and we have our town attorney. So let's see, the first item on our agenda is to go into executive session on a personnel matter. So what we're going to do is pause.
We don't need a motion to go into executive session.
But I'm just going to explain what we're going to do. We're going to pause the Zoom, the recording, and then the Zoom will continue when we come out of executive session. So could I please have a motion to go into executive session and to include those who are present?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Kathy? Okay.
All right, let me hit pause. There you go, you're all set.
Okay, so we are resuming our meeting after having come out of executive session. Could I have a motion related to the job description for an executive assistant and human resources administrator?
We approve the job description minus the purchasing agent piece.
Thank you. Second,
Second.
okay. Discussion? Would
That's
you like
the
to
next-
amend
that's the
that
next.
to add the?
That can be a second motion? That can be a second motion?
All right, we can do that.
Yeah.
All right, discussion or ready to vote? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All right, could I have a motion concerning the starting salary for this position?
For the position, starting salary of 57,500.
Thank you. Second,
Second.
okay, I have a motion and a second. Discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay. Moving right along. Okay,
Oh, clarification effective.
No.
Go ahead. That would be me. Okay, just want to make sure.
all right, we have the minutes of several meetings. Once again, I would like to table these so that we can get to other things. If it's early when we get through the agenda, that's fine, but we have more important things right now. So the first thing, capital adjustments.
All right, so do I need a motion, a motion? Are you tabling the minutes?
I
just do it as a consent.
Can't we can just move it to the end of the agenda.
We need a motion to
All right,
remove.
I have a motion to move.
I motion to move the approval of minutes to the end of the meeting.
Thank you.
Second.
Second, discussion. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. All right, capital adjustments. Leslie?
Okay, the ARPA schedule that was handed out at the budget hearing, indicated that there are some approved ARPA projects that were underspent. What we approved up to $400,000 and we spent $3,700 short of that. And there were other projects that were approved for a dollar amount and we actually spent more. So what we're looking for is approval to basically true those up, to return it's not with, I don't know if it was attached with it or not. May not have. I know it was attached with a previous month. I don't know if I actually printed it out for this one. So we're looking to true up line items. The Scott packs, it's returned. They're almost $3,700. The kitchen renovation is to approve an additional 2,800. That park HVAC is approved an additional 2,960. And the technology upgrades, that is to approve an additional 700. So it works, it's just to true those up, and basically it's under the 10,000 threshold. So it's just a matter of if we feel comfortable, if the board feels comfortable, just approving the shift, you know, the actual spending of the money, which is, it's already gone from the ARPA bank account.
Mhm.
But we want these,
An
each of
accurate
these line
balance.
items to be zero.
Correct.
Because,
Yeah, because I have to report the stuff by the end of the month, what was spent.
okay.
Okay,
Do I have a motion? Motion, John?
sure.
Second.
Second, okay. Discussion? Okay, Kathy?
I'm good.
All in favor?
Aye.
All right, next up, capital reserve. I'm taking these numbers straight out of the audit. According to the audit, our future projects balance in the capital reserve fund was $247,305. Under the committed funds portion, there was a balance of $9,264 for fire truck purchase. There was $368,131 for a school roofing project. And according to the Board of Ed, the roofing project is completely finished. And there was $299,094 in internal transfers. What that is like the playground. You know, because we decided not to do it as a capital project, but an ARPA project. So, but those funds had already been appropriated as a capital project. So those are hanging out there, unused, unspent funds. So the total committed dollar amount is $676,489 for a total reserve of $794. So to that end, I would like the Board of Finance to approve releasing the $676,489 from the committed funds portion of the capital reserve fund to the future capital project portion. What that does is it just allows us to use that money for any capital project.
It's approved.
Correct, that is approved as a capital project.
Okay,
Is that a motion?
yeah,
Thank you.
Second.
Kathy, did you understand what we're doing?
let's be formal
Yeah.
about this.
So I'm kind of following you.
What happened is that the auditors usually clean up our capital for us, and for like 8 years, the auditors didn't notice this school roof bond, that, and the project was done, and
So we had this money sitting there?
yes,
And nobody knew, 100,000.
and we didn't know. And the other thing is that,
Oh, I did-
yes, and the other thing that they did, the auditor, for some reason, put the pickup truck for the fire department, they counted it in 2 different years.
Yeah, that part, that, I didn't even take that into consideration here. I'm still trying to
Yeah.
unravel that one.
But we figured out that we have money that is sitting there looking as if it, not anymore, but it would, did we vote? No, we didn't, not
No.
yet. But it looks as if we can't use that money, and we can use that money.
That's a lot of money.
So that's why, if you would like to vote for that motion, I'll call for a vote.
All for a vote.
Yes, everybody's nodding. Is anybody going to say yes or no? All in favor?
Aye.
Yeah. Anybody opposed? No abstentions? And no, because everyone said yes.
Like a Christmas gift.
It
It is, okay, so. As part 2 of that. I recommend that the Board of Finance approves the transfer of the capital non-recurring funds at stiff. At the last bank reconciliation, that was $339,706.73 to the Webster Bank for the purpose of being used for future capital purposes.
Okay, so
Right now, with the money sitting in stiff, we can't spend it.
Mhm,
We have to go to stiff to get the money to release it in order to spend it.
mhm.
But if we take it out of stiff and put it in Webster now, we can write checks off of that and pay for capital projects.
And that's on top of the 6.
What's,
That is part of the 920.
what's stiff?
It's this, it's a state
State fund,
treasury, state is this, it's.
they were holding,
they're encumbering it for us?
yes, they were holding some of the bond funding.
Oh.
Yeah.
So
So,
that's been sitting out there?
yes.
Okay.
It is earning interest, it is earning interest.
Well,
Uh,
I like what you said, better than the other way.
The crazy thing is that we're looking at this stuff after the auditor's done. So. Anyway, so, one motion, do you have a motion drafted?
Well, I have a resolution draft.
Yes,
Yes, just that the Board of Finance approves the transfer of the capital non-recurring funds at stiff to the Webster Bank for the purpose of being used for future capital purposes. As opposed to sitting there doing nothing.
Anyone? Motion?
You can do
I'll
it.
move.
Okay, John.
Oh,
Second.
second.
Kathy?
Well, who's doing the second? Who did that?
I seconded it.
You seconded it, okay. Was Kathy the motion or was John the motion? John was the motion, okay. You flip flopped it, so I got confused, okay.
Any
And the vote.
further discussion on that one? All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, yeah, she.
Oh, I got more.
She has more.
I have more.
Yeah, more money coming? Well, you gave us the good news first.
All right, now I have three resolutions in regards to spending said capital reserve. First is that the Board of Finance approves an additional $10,000 from the Capital Reserve Fund to be added to the purchase of the new Mason dump truck approved with the 22-23 capital budget for the purpose of upgrading the truck to a stainless body.
So at the town meeting last year, they gave the Board of Finance the discretion to add up to 10% to a capital project if it was necessary to account for inflation or an improvement. So that's what this is.
Because originally we priced the truck with a stainless body, but then by the time we were able to pull the trigger, it went up at $10,000. So we ordered it with a steel body.
But you're
But
running out of
now-
stainless.
Well, because, yeah, the truck is aluminum, the frame is aluminum, so now we have a stainless body.
Okay.
It lasts a lot longer.
Kathy, did you understand that?
Yep, I got it.
Okay. Would
How long
anyone-
does that take to do? What's the process of that happening?
They
We
happen to
approved
have
that
one in stock.
Yeah, tomorrow. I mean,
We
this
don't
would
have the
be-
truck yet, but the
No.
body's in stock.
But it's approved. It would be approved immediately for action
Yes.
because it's already an approved capital project.
Mhm.
Do I have a motion?
Come on, guys, don't let me down.
Second? Kathy,
Second,
There we go. There we go. We didn't want to let you down. There we go.
further discussion? All in favor?
I,
So now you've got your stainless steel.
Okay, resolution number 2. The Board of Finance approves up to $10,000 from the Capital Reserve Fund for the purchase of a steel body to upgrade an existing truck in the fleet.
Okay, again, our old Mason dump, the body, the truck is roughly 20 years old. But it's in real nice shape because again, it's the aluminum body and everything else. The steel body is shot. But instead of spending 20,000 for stainless steel, $10,000 steel body will make the truck functional for another however many years. And they happen to have one because you guys just voted for the stainless steel body, so the steel body's sitting there on site waiting for us to put it on the old truck. If approved.
Okay.
yes.
Move.
Okay, I have a motion and a second. I have one question. Does that one have to go to the town meeting?
Under
It's under-
10,000.
it's
I
It's
think.
under 20,000.
Under 20,000.
Okay, all right,
It's only the 10,000.
okay,
It's only 10,000.
Yeah.
all in favor?
I,
And here's the third one. The Board of Finance approves up to $85,000 from the Capital Reserve Fund for the purpose of renovating Center Station Firehouse to bring the building up to acceptable, workable conditions within the current scope of operations. And we ask that the Board of Selectmen add this item to the May 15 town meeting call.
Is that officially our building now?
Yes.
Oh, yeah. It's been our
Again,
business.
okay, we own the building and with LoSiP funds, we put a new roof on the building. That was approved a few years back. With the grant that we're doing now, because we're under the impression all this, for a while, that we're getting the big money to do Center Station. We're doing the parking lot down there. I don't know if you guys saw it there.
Yeah, so the.
Pulverizing and paving.
Yeah.
But then the grant money was pulled from there for town hall.
Mhm.
If you guys have been in the building, probably haven't been in it in a while, the building is uninhabitable. The sheetrock's all gone, the bathrooms are, I mean, it's in pretty bad shape.
Okay.
So instead of doing the major renovation like we had figured we were gonna try to do with additions and bathrooms and showers and everything else, for about 85,000, we can bring it up to a building where you can actually go in and have a usable building. That would be painting the whole exterior, sheetrocking, new ceiling, new floor, because the rugs got ripped out, the sheet got ripped out, the ceilings got ripped out, the bathrooms are closed, it's just,
Yeah.
it's a mess.
And the constables do use it on a regular basis.
Yes, the constables, the senior buses parked down there, the fire marshal.
Cert was using it for meeting and
working a while. I went down there with the building inspector yesterday. He was fine with the project. We're not changing use, so we don't need any kind of, to bring it up to, any compliance issues. There's no permits needed. It's basically just renovation and repairs.
Little bit added.
Okay, and we have the funds. We don't have to change the budget because we have all this literally found money in capital reserve. So. Would anyone like to move that resolution?
The two look at each other like they're not sure who's gonna make the first move.
You're trying to decide.
Favor-
We're confused with John G or John F.
Kathy can do something.
I'll second that one.
Kathy, oh, we gotta let Kathy make the
Okay.
next
Yeah,
one.
All right, we got.
Sorry, Kathy.
All right, we got
I'll move.
Second.
Oh, I just put her as the second, because
Oh.
John had moved.
Oh,
Okay,
okay, never mind.
okay.
We're good.
Whatever. All right, discussion, all in favor, aye?
I,
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? How about that? It's been a long time since we've had a meeting where we had good stuff like that, right?
That's fun spending money.
Well,
That's what, finding $1 million.
Good time tonight.
that's been just sitting there
For years and years.
for years, just, and nobody.
how long was it there?
When the school roof got done,
Let's see,
6, 8, 10 years, a
The-
long time, yeah.
the bond money in the stiff account was 2011.
Wow,
I
And
have,
no others found it until.
they just found it this year.
The auditor didn't find, it. I saw audits back to Marcia Marin.
Maybe
And
you
it
keep
was-
looking.
It was- We're pleased with where we are, obviously. Okay, anything else,
not under capital adjustments, no.
all right, so that does not change anything. It changes the total, it's going to add one more line onto the capital projects. But because it's the subsidy or the money is coming from the capital reserve and it's already there, we don't have to transfer anything from the general.
And
fund.
no mill rate adjustment. or
No
nothing.
mill
It's
rate
like-
adjustment at all.
Oh,
Perfect. Okay. All right. So,
I guess.
financials?
I was gonna say, you keep
I
going.
keep on, I
You
keep going. The year-to-date,
We get to do this.
the year-to-date financials are attached, it's the revenue and expense lines, and at the bottom of the schedule. I
Yeah,
kind of,
last page.
yeah, the last page. Is our. General fund assumptions, assuming I did it correctly. I took the unassigned balance from June,
The audited
the audited
22.
22 general fund balance. I added the year-to-date receipts. Subtracted the year-to-date expenses, added the capital expenses for this year. So we have a year-to-date change. So right now, our unassigned balance is up. It's looking like it's $11 million. However, I added additional receipts and took out additional expenditures. So at the end of the year, I'm expecting about a $300,000 decrease from where we are right now. And we did have a subsidy from the general fund built into this year's budget.
Of 300 and something,
Yes, of about $325,000.
20 something. So it's looking like we may come in very, very close to what we said we were going to come in.
With all this crazy inflation, that's a good job.
Well, receipts are up as well as.
Right,
expenses, so-
right. Yeah.
So they balanced.
But it's also amazing what having people in key positions paying attention to the expense lines does for the overall budget process. Because every time, I will say that every time an invoice comes in that puts a public works line over budget, Don comes into my office and goes, we have a problem. On top of the expenses, and that is our biggest departmental expense on the town budget, I mean, outside of education. That's the place that we can make the biggest impact to make or break a budget.
Mhm. And most of it's electricity and fuel and
Yeah.
stuff, and
And
just went crazy in the last 6
And
months.
he's keeping it tight to the budget.
Because we're still waiting to hear from them.
Okay, so now the public hearing. Comments about the public hearing? The point of the hearing was 22 results estimated 23, and here's our budget for 24. We went out there with a balanced budget, which we haven't seen in quite a while. And we went out there with Well, what was the other thing I was gonna say besides the balanced budget?
No subsidies.
Oh, no, well,
But that's what you mean by balance.
yeah, balance, the
Mhm.
revenues are equal to expenses. There have been some minor adjustments. Since then, but, oh, that people could tell us what they wanted increased and what they might want decreased. So. What do you- Comments on the meeting?
Got a lot.
We didn't.
It went surprisingly well. I mean, people seem to, I think your presentation was outstanding.
Yes.
Your presentation made it very succinct and I think simple and to the point. And I think people were able to get it very quickly and easily.
Actually, both of you guys, when somebody asked a question, you can answer it.
I mean, that's, you
important.
stumped that man. You gave me so much information. We were stunned.
My God, it's just gonna stop.
Because I've been to other town meetings. I never got that much information when I asked a question. So we were impressed
How much
tremendously.
that was, but, Kathy, any comments for the meeting?
No, I think it went well too. It seemed like we got everything done. Everyone was satisfied.
Except one very, very embarrassing thing happened to me. The very last page, down at the bottom of the very last page, there were 2 typos just before the mill rate. And I went home and I turned on my computer and the corrected one was there.
You just printed the wrong one.
I emailed the
Oh,
wrong
pretty
one
good.
to everybody,
But
but it's just like, really?
It's a-
Well, I know.
I'd be the only one
I
that knows.
No, people were asking. I mean, I noticed the comma, then people said, but the arithmetic's not right.
Right.
I said, that's okay, the mill rate is.
No,
No one was concerned about the mill rate.
No, people were happy.
I
Like I
think
said,
they
they-
understood, because I mean, I said, you're filling your car, you're putting oil in your house, your electricity, everybody understands that some of these things are out of our control. And we're doing the best we can.
So,
It's hard to dispute that right now with everything that's going
To be
on.
in that consortium with Woodbridge and Amity to
Mhm.
save some, a little bit, even though it's one off.
okay, so do we want to go forward? First, the changes you made. Some
I
small
did,
changes.
I did make some small changes to the budget. From what was presented. One, I had to make room for additional funds for Jen. In the budget. 2, I had missed a portion of the youth services budget. There's 2 components to that, and I only factored in one.
That's
And
the
the-
Woodbridge Youth Services?
Yeah, the
Oh,
Woodbridge Youth Services
Okay.
and the Teen Center.
Teen Center.
I missed the $6,000 for teen. So we're talking like 7,000 for Jen, 6,000 for teen. I also went back and I looked at the contribution for the retirement plan. If we continue with the 8% contribution for the town employees' salaries, I made sure I had all those numbers right. But what I did not calculate correctly was the union pension contribution.
The catch up.
Seamers, which is the Connecticut plan that the union belongs to, that the Public Works Union belongs to. The town portion of their pension is 20% of their wages. Because of the unfunded portion of the pension pool, that number is up to 12.07%. And their straight contribution is 7.5. So it is 19.57%. Just on the public works salary alone, our mandatory contribution is almost $100,000, which is a lot of money. So I had to increase that line. I had to increase Jen's line. And I had to increase youth services. And then Sharon and I also went back and we changed all of the individual employee pay lines from
Who weren't,
who were not getting a rate adjustment because of a market rate adjustment
or
or a salary equalization, however you want to put it, because of additional accreditation and additional certifications. We changed the 2.5% increase to 3%. Where did the money come from to do this? We took $50,000 out of the capital budget. And we are recommending that the $35,000 for the mower, was the third mower? There's a line item for $35,000 and there's a line item for $15,000.
The trailer and the mower now.
I believe it's,
Yes,
I
it's-
had the capital budget with me.
it's not about not buying.
You know what, hold on. Yes, the mower and the skid steer trailer.
Yes.
We are recommending that those two items, which is $50,000, be paid for out of the capital reserve as opposed to appropriating additional funds for them. And what it does is it keeps us, oh, the other place where there was an increase was I had to increase the audit to over $53,000 because I do actually have the letter of engagement to do the 23 audit. We found a way to balance it with, what it does is it does not change the overall dollar amount. It does not change the increase in percentage from 23 to 24. It does not change the mill rate. It remains at the same exact dollar amount that we put forth of $26,350,614.
Anyway, so it's, the bottom line is the same.
The bottom line is the same.
Cost.
The
Everything.
individual lines changed a little bit, but the overall did not change.
And it just, with inflation being what it is, the 2.5 seemed, especially since half the staff were already getting an increase beyond that for other reasons. Just, it actually cost less than, what was it?
It was maybe $5,300 to move everyone from 2.5 to 3.
If you don't like it, we can make it go back.
Well, if there's, so how many employees do we have? Roughly
You mean-
100?
You mean
Oh,
full-time?
No, full-time.
No. I'm just curious, what percent? Got increases because of, I'm
Actually,
confused
quite-
how that's all working.
Actually, quite a few, because you had 2 people in the town clerk's office. You had the zoning enforcement officer got fully certified. You've got the assessors, are they both doing?
They're both
Certification.
working towards certification.
And,
They don't have that, so
They
they're
do.
not.
They do not, but in the case of the one individual, she is working on certification for both assessor and town clerk. And the 2 assistant town clerks are more than halfway through their training. And they were adjusted because they were significantly under. They were still making a rate that we are hiring part-time employees at. Which was the reason for their adjustment.
They all still would like more money.
Well,
Yeah.
everybody does.
Yeah, and
Anyone here said no, I mean.
the numbers we're offering are less than what the department heads have asked for them.
Oh, that's what the department head should do.
Yes.
I ask for my employees too.
Yeah.
I don't get it, but I ask.
They didn't, but
Yes.
it seemed, the things, considering where we the situation that we are in and the fact that we're able to do it. And honestly, next year, not 24, but 25 budget is probably gonna be a killer because of the schools are both going into negotiations. And they're both already setting us up for really big increases. Anyway, if you don't like it, we can take it down. Yeah. Otherwise, I'd like a motion to take, to forward this budget to the Board of Selectmen for the purpose of calling a town meeting.
Move.
John's not,
No, I'm gonna abstain.
okay. Kathy? Second?
A second.
Okay. For the discussion, do you want to,
No, I'm just gonna abstain. I just,
Okay.
payroll piece is questionable in my
all
opinion.
right,
Okay, so, yeah,
Well,
nays, what do
We
we
didn't get there
didn't
yet.
get there yet, okay. He's
okay,
abstaining.
all in
Dorothy's
favor?
abstaining.
nays,
Aye.
It was an aye.
and abstentions?
Mhm.
So, and I would just personally request that all the capital requests happen before the budget itself, because voting on the budget first will, if all the capital things don't go, then
We can make
We
that the
did that last
time.
year.
Yes,
I think we could motion to put that at the end, but we can put it at the end to start off with when we do the call.
right. We have to be almost done, right? What else is left? Oh, God.
Retirement plan, Vin, have you had a chance to review the legal documents?
Most of them, I did, and they're formulaic.
Mhm.
So I don't have any issues. I didn't have any changes with the documents, actually. They're having right here. Yes,
So you are due back in on Thursday,
He's
correct?
coming in Thursday.
yeah,
Okay,
and
the afternoon.
I did review, there was, I thought I saw one typo, but other than that, there was nothing substantive that I thought they were form. Remember I said, I felt like I was deja vu all over again? Yeah. Other than one typo, I didn't see anything of substance.
okay, all right, and just for informational purposes, we went with Smith Brothers and it was a flat fee not to exceed $10,000. I negotiated that down to 4,500.
Flat, not to exceed 35.
It's a flat fee of $4,500. The only place that I made a concession on was we took it from a 3-year term to a 2-year term. I felt that was something that was a fair give, since I was cutting 55% of the fee out.
If they don't get to eat dinner,
They do, but maybe not where they really
I
like
was
it.
gonna say, no pizza for them.
We have already acted on this, right?
Correct, it's already done.
Yeah.
It's just a matter of
Yeah.
then giving Paul the approval to sign the documents to get it moving.
So it's
Yes.
We'll do that on Thursday.
All right, the
Other than the
next
typo.
item, the
That's-
recycle
That's
analysis.
for Don and I to do for the town meeting,
Okay.
but it's just on there so that it
Just
doesn't
a
get
reminder.
lost, to remind us that we have to do it.
Oh, the D, 5D? Okay,
Yes.
gotcha.
Yes.
All right,
Okay,
now,
gotcha.
what do we have to actually do tonight?
Grants,
Is there anything we actually have to do?
no, there is
No.
nothing that we actually have to do. Then we'll let us know on Thursday if we're good to move forward with B. And other than that, everything is in motion.
Okay, because the Round Hill Road one has already been approved, right?
No, Round Hill Road is
Oh, that's
it's due next, it's due in a week or two.
So
Right.
it's going to the town meeting.
No, we put it on the
Oh,
town,
no.
we put it on, the town has allowed us to apply for it.
Yes.
And
Okay.
we're in the, Jen was working on all the paperwork for submission to
They're
that.
saying mid-June, we should get an answer.
All right, so we can table any action on the grants.
It's informational
Yeah,
only on.
Yeah, no action needed.
I'm just trying to get through.
Mhm.
The GAP general fund standards, it's actually a government financial
GFOA.
officers association, I keep wanting to, and I think 16.7 is the minimum that they recommend for the general fund. And I think we need to have a discussion about that, because that's 2 months worth of cash flow. That they say, and they recommend that small government units try to have more because of the vulnerability to $1 million fire trucks.
And we're at 20 something now, right?
21, 20.
I mean, ballpark, it's 20 something. yeah.
The end of last year, 23, the estimate for next year's 21.
Okay.
That's
So we're,
Yes,
so we're well above the.
well,
parameters.
yes, but.
we
the
are
thing is,
above.
Well,
but not necessarily-
we're trying to bring it down.
Are we gonna need any of that to balance next year?
It's already
Calculation.
calculated in there.
Yeah, no, we're not using the general fund to.
So then,
It's in
yeah, so we
22.
won't have a hit next. If
In
we stay the same.
24.
Well, yes, we would have a hit percentage wise because our expenses keep going up.
So it'll go, even if we manage for fiscal 24 to break even, the percentage is going to go down. The fund might not go down, but the percentage, because expenses are
right.
going up.
Right.
So we
If
need,
it's starting.
we need to be aware that that's going to happen.
You may understand that, it's sort of- I remember sitting in these meetings.
All right,
screaming.
let's see, I have nothing to report about. There hasn't been any change at Amity. I think their budget, the last time we met there, they had approved the budget with a 2.25 increase.
And the referendum will be the beginning of
The
May.
referendum will be the first week of May.
So when are they gonna start advertising? Just like, did they say?
I
I didn't see it.
Probably.
I know, they report.
Yeah, they only have.
I don't know.
Within
the
a certain
public-
number of days.
The public hearing was last week.
Last week, yeah.
Yeah, we-
There'll be a sign at the bottom of the hill.
Then they wonder why there's low attendance.
Okay, let's see. I believe there's going to be a campaign originating from the chairs of the other two boards of finance, as opposed to their finance committee members to to vote the budget down again. Okay.
Matt's still there?
Next Is what?
Matt,
No,
No, he left.
he resigned.
that's right.
He got really mad. Resigned. So he and Jim Leahy are working together. In
tandem.
in an attempt to, I believe the argument is that it should be voted down again. Because what we did 15, 16, 17 years ago is not the same process that we do now. Because among other things, the state statutes have changed and their bylaws have changed. So, but anyway. Everybody gets to vote themselves. I'll pass it along to Paula.
Well, we had sort of tabled this last month with the proposed amendment to the ordinance for alternate members of the Board of Finance. Now, just yesterday, Will Brinton had provided, which I had forwarded to Sharon, some history on the alternates. Apparently, it was proposed back in 1996. And it was voted down apparently at the town meeting, it was rejected. It had been mentioned recently because of attendance and a couple of times being so close to not having a quorum. So it's your conversation, it's your board. You know, we don't have two members tonight, and when people, you know, we sit here waiting, we don't know who's showing, who's not showing.
Thank you.
It's your call. I mean, it can be tabled again, if it's,
I don't think it's necessary.
I think it sounds good, but at the same time, you're gonna need two people to come
Regularly.
regularly, and if they're not, then they just fill in and they're uninformed. How accurate or.
Yeah, that's,
informed of the vote are they gonna make?
yeah, if they're not there all the time.
You're asking a lot of, you know, especially budget time, the meetings are a lot. More than a
And
lot of words.
it asks a lot of people who are already on the board. And one of my real concerns is that it would essentially give people permission to not come to meetings,
the regular members.
regular members,
Right.
yes. And we all have occasions where we can't make a meeting, but it would just be a lot easier to not make, you know, the thing,
Mhm.
the commitment. And the other thing is that we all know how long, really big the learning curve is. So,
Okay, I mean, we don't have to take any action, it was just brought forward because it had been brought up, so we can certainly just table it and never
Exit.
not think of it
Yeah,
again. So,
I don't need another argument.
So table.
all right, no
it doesn't
action,
have to be tabled. How about if we just?
just no
remove it?
action.
Yeah. remove it.
Yeah, no
And we never.
It's not-
No interest.
No action.
Erase it off
Okay.
30 seconds.
Okay.
Strike it from the minutes.
If you were at the Board of Selectmen meeting last week, you know exactly what transpired. And the Board of Selectmen met yesterday morning, and we voted to withdraw the referral with regard to the project. So that is now kind of squelched at this moment in time. So,
So.
they may come forward with it again, that's not our.
You know, they're putting a training building up here.
Okay.
So.
The,
in-
the grant will continue to move forward, unless they withdraw it. I don't, you know, it's not our, we didn't apply for the grant, the town, so.
So could you look into whether they actually are legitimate agents that they can apply for a grant for something to put on our property? That, because they don't own that property, they don't own the building that's there.
Right, so, you know, someone once said
Yeah.
to me. So for example, the zoning commission could approve the Empire State Building on this lot. Right? Doesn't mean it's gonna get built, right? If the owner of the lot doesn't approve it,
Mhm.
right? If the lot would sustain the Empire State Building. Right? So it depends on what the regulations would allow. But if the owner of the lot doesn't permit the construction of that building. So one of the reasons why I found myself lost for words at the meeting was because I didn't quite know what I wanted to say, because of how this whole thing was kind of stumbled out. Because the department went and got a grant on, in the first instance.
Mhm.
They also said that they had their approvals from years ago. But they were here kind of like a good neighbor, just because. Well, no one ever just comes back for approvals just because, in my opinion, in my view. So under 8-24, you go to zoning when you do a municipal improvement, when you're going to do something like lease, rent, lease, sell, buy, improve, and you're going to require an action of your legislative body to enter into a lease or to sell. So it's the action of the legislative body, the number of votes required in order to approve the sale or the lease. So when the question was, well, what is the action that is required of the legislative body,
Or the town meeting.
the town meeting?
Yeah.
My mind is, shall the town authorize the location of this facility? Right, because isn't that the first order of business? Right, you have to lease, or you have to approve the location, but this was kind of already done, right, because they're there already. They have a site plan there already. This is kind of like a bad plate of pasta that doesn't taste all that great, that we don't know how the recipe was made.
Did we, or did the town approve years ago?
Yeah.
The site plan shows a tower on the.
Yeah,
it does.
It shows a-
From 2004.
But we don't know if that has a burn building, a burn,
It was.
tower. we don't know. So we have to get those plans and
Yeah.
see. So, we don't have enough information yet,
Mhm.
but, so, when it comes back to the town meeting, really the first question should be, shall the building be located there?
Mhm.
Right? Shall, so in a sense, it should be, shall the town lease this area
Mhm.
to the fire department for
Mhm.
purposes of locating this facility,
Mhm.
right? Because that's what you're doing. It's town property. They're not they're serving a quasi municipal function, but they're not a town.
But are you
Department.
saying, we kind of already did this years ago? I don't know, I
Well-
know you're sorting out the details, but
Theoretically, they didn't build it within the statutory window, so that approval may no longer be valid. Maybe that's why they're back. Again, there's a lot of this.
Mhm.
So, but they're back for some reason,
Mhm.
that I presume is necessary. And now, that being said, this is industrial land,
Mhm.
and, these types of facilities are located around the state in industrial areas.
Mhm.
Now, okay, your industrial area park happens to be in kind of the center of your town, right? Well, that was a choice of your zoning layout, all right? Doesn't mean this facility has to be located there,
Mhm.
but it is a facility that is well suited for an industrial area.
Mhm.
When you look at where it's suited elsewhere around the state.
Mhm.
So, and it is going to benefit your firefighters who volunteer
Mhm.
their time to service your community.
Mhm.
And ultimately, you'll all benefit because, your insurance, the more that your town has these types of facilities, the more fire hydrants, the more training facilities, your insurance rates will come down,
Mhm.
right? So, as a community, you'll benefit from.
Mhm.
Doesn't necessarily mean it should go there,
Mhm.
but that's not an 8-24 issue.
No, that's just. the
That-
plan. And
That's a site plan issue. But it's a town meeting question as to whether or not the town should lease. this-
what about it being a capital project? It would end up being a capital asset of the town because it would have to. Because if they just decided, if they built it and then said, oh, well,
Well, right, who's building it, right? Is it,
but it's all yours,
Right. well, that's the thing, is who's building it? Is it the town or is it the department?
and can they build it?
Well, it depends on how it's structured. Right? So it depends on how it's structured. It's town land. If the grant allows a department, volunteer department, which is a private, I'm assuming 501,
Corporation.
Yeah, it's a
Something, right?
nonprofit.
to apply for that grant rather than a municipality. So let's assume for the sake of this hypothetical that the federal government allows a private fire department, not a municipality, to get this grant. Now the question is the department going to be insuring that building? That's not going to be on the town's insurance, right?
They said no. They said we are.
Well, then it's a town building.
Yeah, this-
You can't have it both ways, right?
Don't we insure the headquarters?
Yes.
We own it.
Well, we own it.
So it depends on if they're gonna own it. They're gonna, we could theoretically, we could enter into a ground lease. They could construct the building, they could own the building, they can insure the building, they could occupy the building. And we could do a 99-year ground lease with it, right? And we don't have anything to do with it other than we lease the land to them. But they don't want that because then they have to insure it. Right?
Yeah, I think they also kind of want the financial questions that we asked were not answered with any certainty. It's, we don't think we're going to need any more money for maintenance.
Well, see,
We don't think, the thing is that there's no certainty.
Right.
And then they would have to come to us.
Mhm.
And then if we do that, then is it ours or theirs?
But I
Well, I
thought,
suspect it's a town, I suspect it's gonna be a town building.
I thought they were talking about that this
Would be.
proposed facility would be something that other departments could be.
Right, they would lease it.
They could
What happened last week, because last week was a cluster with this whole thing.
Yeah.
When we applied for Rosa's grant, it took us almost a year to get an answer.
Mhm.
They applied within 5 days. Rosa called them directly and said, you got the grant.
No,
No,
they're
say
she's
you're on
moving
it,
it
just say-
forward.
Well, she's moving it forward.
Moving it forward.
Right, but within a week,
But you made it,
she basically said,
they made it feel like they got it, right?
so it took us,
She's moving it.
it took us
forward.
9 months to get what they got.
Mhm.
They-
So
they
instead
may
of
not know.
talking more and doing more and this and that and the other thing, it happened just like that.
So it was a little
So at the
premature.
town meeting, people said, we got the grant, let's build the building, which may or may not be the
It
case.
took us months to find out whether the money, our grant,
Mhm.
the money was appropriated for it, and we have yet to get it, and we're looking at a year.
And
since we
Rosa
applied
called
for it.
Brent after 5 days and personally said,
She's
I'm
moving
pushing
it
it forward.
forward.
So that started this whole chain of it's approved, we're building it, oh my God.
And I always get what
this
I
and that.
want, right?
Well, I mean, if they
I'm
had,
Rosa, I
if
get
they
it.
had 7 months to hash it out, it might end up.
The thing is, she's not the chair of that committee anymore.
Right, but she's, yeah. And hopefully she's not, I mean, she's 90 years old, so hopefully she's not around for too much.
Yeah.
Well, I hope, long enough to get this money.
Sorry, so basically, we withdrew the referral and it's not going anywhere at this point in time. Don, who else was on it? It was Leslie, was Jen on it? No, just the three of us, just the three of us. We were on a call yesterday with Kelly Hamill, who is one of the people who helps run the Public Works in Woodbridge, and Tony Genovese, who is the finance director of Woodbridge. They had inquired, well, actually, I think we reached out to them about their hazard waste, how they work it. And they came back with, they have mattresses that potentially they would like people to be able to drop up here. So we had a conversation yesterday as to how they handle their haz waste. They are part of that regional group, but they do a satellite at least once a year in Woodbridge. And Bethany residents are able to go to that.
You know, like for
But we can go to
paint cans and
anyone in Suffolk Authority property, because
Correct.
I'm in the same
Right.
market and I go to those all the time.
Well, we started questioning it because we spend thousands of dollars for this. The agreement's expiring the end of June. And they send you reports and we have over the year, what, 24 people?
Yeah, but roughly 10,000.
Well, it says households. It doesn't give you an address. So it potentially could be the same person going 24 times during the year. And we're spending thousands of dollars for this service. So we're reaching out to them because they mentioned a satellite and how they did it, but they are also part of this. So they're paying their thousands of dollars. But potentially they are able to have a satellite. So we have to decide how we want to handle this, paying the thousands of dollars. It's a 3-year agreement.
I have a quick update on that. I
Sure.
did reach out to Clean Harbors today. I got a call back when I was having dinner. He's gonna call me back in the morning. They do private satellite. So they'll come to Bethany twice a year, or whatever, and we pay, it's a pay as you, whatever.
What was the name of this thing?
Clean Harbors, that's the one that does, that's the one that runs it down in New Haven. So
Okay,
Woodbridge has it come to them, but they're also part of the group. They
right.
would come to us, not part of the group. They would just come here to collect our stuff.
Can you do it more than twice a year?
We can do it as many
Could you
times
do
as
it
you want
like
to.
quarterly or something?
I don't know the price yet.
Okay.
The guy called me at 6 o'clock, he's gonna call me back.
That price or pay is.
I'm not sure, but see, the thing is, though, when they come, like the satellites, we have a very extensive recycling. We take batteries, we take tires, we take oil, we take antifreeze, we take, light bulbs and all that stuff. They take all of that also when they come to the satellites. So we don't need them to take any of that. The only thing basically we need them to take is poisonous stuff, oven cleaner and pesticides and things like that. Paint, you bring it to the paint store. So most of the stuff, it's already accessible to Bethany residents in town to get rid of everything. Oven cleaner, I mean, whatever, I mean, they take stuff that is not really readily available anymore. The bad pesticides, the bad bug spray, you really can't buy that stuff anymore.
No, but you can clean it out of your garage or yourself.
Exactly,
Yeah,
exactly.
that would be-
So I'm gonna get a price hopefully tomorrow, or at least more information on it, where they would come, say, April and September. And we could publicize it and say, bring what you got, bring it to recycling instead of running it down to the boulevard. Because right now, you're talking an hour-and-a-half road trip to bring an empty oven jar.
But do we have an obligation to the Regional Water Authority?
No, but we do have to legally, we have to we have to have some means of people just getting rid of their stuff. So it's our choice to belong to this,
Right, I mean, they send us the agreement and it's been.
right? If we have nowhere else to do, we have to join this. But if they'll do a private one, then we don't have to join this.
But if we join it, it'll be nonstop. You can bring it up there.
It's
or
every
just on-
Saturday. Every Saturday, but it's roughly last year it cost us about $10,000. And I think you would say it was 24 visits. Now, 24 visits, one person might have went every other week for the year, and that was it. 24 visits from Bethany residents in a
We
year.
have like 2,100 or 2,200 households
Right.
in town.
They don't list that on the site.
Yeah.
Then when they go, because they list Woodbridge's. Because Woodbridge takes, on that one day, it's insane.
Well, like I said, but we take
Fines.
most of that,
Oh, yeah, I waited probably an hour in line.
yeah, but we
That
take
was
most of that
brutal.
weekly.
Yeah, but they take paint every day,
Right, again,
so it's orange,
Woodbridge,
paint
and-
every day,
at recycling,
yeah.
so we don't, but we take.
So just go run down to the transfer station in Orange and drop it off.
But also, but like
Pretty
Benjamin Moore,
strict there though.
Benjamin Moore, Home Depot.
Throw
that
it
cheap stores,
in the back of my car. I'll take it down. Throw it in the back of the car. I'll take it out there.
I get about 30 cans.
So I-
Back there.
You
So yeah, I'll know
We
tomorrow.
tabled, at the Board of Selectmen meeting, we tabled signing that agreement until we could get more information, because did it make more sense for us to do any kind of a satellite a few times a year?
Mhm.
As opposed to thousands of dollars for a few households. And more people may actually use the satellite option because it's here in town as opposed to, like you said, people having to drive 35 minutes or so.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, so
that's.
so we'll know
just an
better,
update
we'll know
with
better
that.
hopefully tomorrow, if it would be cost effective to have our own, quarterly or just biannually or
So
whatever.
would you put that on the agenda for the town meeting for people to get people's opinions?
If we have an answer, but then we certainly could, yeah.
I'm just thinking.
Because I'm guessing most people in town don't even know that they can bring stuff down to the boulevard to drop off.
Because do you have it in the budget? You can go on the budget line for it.
Every Saturday.
But
It's
most people
within,
know that.
it's with, I mean, it's always been the solid waste budget.
So anyway, we'll know in the next couple of days. We'll meet, we'll talk again
And then we'll bring it forward to the board of
at
selectmen.
the next
meeting
select,
again.
we're having a select
on May
meeting
2nd.
before the call for the town meeting.
Right, exactly, exactly.
Again, it would just be informational anyway. It's not-
When are you meeting again? Because you've got to get stuff out. You can't wait till your May meeting
For,
to do the call for the meeting.
yes, we can.
Is there enough time?
The meeting, the town meeting is the 15th. Even if we had it at the end of that week, it's still 10 days out. So, yeah, we can have everything as prepped as possible when Leslie comes back from her vacation.
One more.
You know, we know what the budget's gonna be. We can have all the other items ready.
I didn't know. what
So-
we had.
Okay.
Okay, so that's me. That's
Okay.
okay.
All right, I think we're losing our audience here. What we have left in addition to the minutes are the
Address control issues.
the control issues, and you don't have anything. Tonight, we've been the budget without.
No, I do not, there is no update on that. Don and I will work on the purchase policy portion, because the part that has not been made public yet is the public works portion, so I'm hoping to have a revised draft out for next month, so it can be implemented and started next fiscal.
All right, so what,
Do I need to mention the item that I brought to your attention?
No.
There we are
She can't
again.
remember, maybe she can't remember.
No, it will be a sidebar at a later date.
Okay. All right, so we're working on the minutes now, is that what we're doing?
actually,
still
I was going to
recording.
suggest that we just table the minutes until next month, because we're going to have a lot less on our agenda at that time.
What you mean?
Okay, is the motion second?
Oh, John
Kathy?
Ford, John. Woodhouse.
I,
Unanimous. Table to-
That motion,
Oh,
but
Table to
that motion for which you are all waiting,
adjourn.
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
Oh, no,
all in favor?
no,
I.
not so soon.
not even.
It's like 9 o'clock yet.